So as we start going through the education system, it actually started teaching entitlement. The byproduct of entitlement was homelessness, addictive behavior, and so forth. And I've been covering this. And I've said this in so many different ways. The continuance over the years of the next generation learning a greater level of entitlement actually put this more and more into the real problem, to where this nation has a crisis. And the crisis is being created by the education system. When we look at the problem today, everybody wants to create shelters and everything else, but we're not stopping the factory that's making the problem. In other words, you have to look upstream to say, where is this filth coming from? It's coming from our education system. Oh, by the way, that's something that they have no authority to be functioning and operating and influencing. But because we've become so illiterate on the Constitution, they've weaponized this. Oh, but they were going to do good things and they were going to make us a great society. The reality is, as Washington put it in his farewell address, that whenever we allow government to use good intentions, that is the mechanism of how great nations are destroyed. So, as we go through even further into this cultural warfare, this is where we can actually see the second side of this. The first side of cultural warfare is our education system, and how it is literally weaponizing our children today and our children in the school system. Our children in the school system are being indoctrinated to surrender to globalism and communism. That is a better option than anything going back to our heritage and liberty and those types of things. That allowing the government to basically allow them to ingratiate themselves in their sexuality and in their pleasuring, that don't worry, the government will take care of you. We always will. They are weaponizing our children. I've been saying this for years. When we look at the homeschooling and how we don't have enough of that. And the fact is that the kids that are coming out of homeschooling, they're going to be the leaders of tomorrow. These are the Thomas Jeffersons of that generation. If we don't have Thomas Jeffersons, James Madison's, Rufus King's, James Iredell's, if we don't have framers or leaders and stateswomen that are actually leading this generation, that generation that is, the homeschoolers, the kids today that are coming up, they won't have the opportunity to lead if we don't start leading now. So the second side of the this cultural engineering was the invasion. Because when we start allowing people to come in, especially when we allow them to sneak in and then they don't have to assimilate. And then what Reagan did, believe me, Reagan has blood on his hands because he allowed this one-time amnesty to allow all of these illegals. It was a huge violation of the Constitution, and allowed invaders to become legitimate citizens. And actually, because they didn't have the authority, because they violated the law, the citizenship of those people is illegitimate. And there's a lot of people that are going to be pissed off hearing this, because they'll go, I benefited from that. Folks, we have to actually start looking at who are here to destroy us and who are here to save us. And those people, if they're honest, they'll say, you know what, we actually have to stop this, and it started with us. We can't allow the next and the next and the next to have the same privileges that we shouldn't have had. And those people would be the front of the line. Anybody that wants to stand up and say, we don't have the right to be here. We need to actually follow the system and actually allow the Constitution to be executed so that we are repelled. But those of us will be remembered, and actually we will bring them back. We will go through, and then they will actually be naturalized the way the law stipulates. You can't wave a wand and make a person a citizen. There is a legal process that person actually has to become a state citizen. Then they file to become a U.S. citizen. They have to learn the language. They have to pass a test, and then they get sworn in. You don't go straight to the swearing in. That violates the law. The Congress shall have the power to have, or actually, I want to read, no point in misquoting, and it's nice to have all of these things memorized, but it's right here. Number 3, Congress shall have the power to establish an uniform rule of naturalization. And when they create these DACAs and these different paths, that is not a uniform rule. The Constitution demands a uniform rule, not different rules. Oh, if you're south of us, you can come here this way, and we got this little fast path for you. No, that's creating a preference. That is unconstitutional as well. Do you see how insidious this government has been in undermining us and with this cultural engineering? The byproduct of this invasion that's glaring us in the face is the importation of drugs, the importation of combatants, the combatants that are sneaking in, the importation of disease. The only good thing that the people, other than those who are sneaking in the ranks that are terrorists and so forth, most of those people are Christian, but they're all